In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to do automatic text resizing in Sports Photo Automation version 10. Version 10 does this differently than prior versions. However, it is simpler, quicker, and more intuitive than the prior versions, so I think you'll really like it. In the prior versions, if you recall, in order to resize text, you would need columns for each text layer you wanted to automatically resize, and those columns would be named resize hyphen your text layer, and then you'd put the resize method inside of your data file. Additionally, if you switched templates within the data file, you would need to enter in the resize method for each of those templates. So if your templates didn't use the same resize mode and each of them needed something different, you would have to enter that individually in the cells, which could get kind of tedious if you were doing many data or many template files within your data file. You would have to continually switch the data in the cells so the resize method matched what that template needed. So with version 10, there are no resize columns at all. You don't need these. So that makes your data file much easier to set up. How it's handled in version 10 is the resize method is determined by the layer name for the text layers in your template. So for example, we've got the team name layer here. You can set that up 3 different ways. If you don't put anything at the end of the layer name, it's not going to resize text for that layer. If you use -R and the layer name is all caps, no spaces, so team name -R in this case, that will use resize method R. And if it's -RM, that will use resize method RM. So with version 10, there's only 2 resize methods instead of 6. However, these 2 does all of the same things as the previous 6 methods did, so it makes it much easier. With versions prior to 10, you had X for horizontal, Y for vertical, and A for angled. It was set up that way because I didn't know how to have the plugin automatically detect whether the text was horizontal, angled, or vertical, or whether it was using the vertical type tool versus the horizontal type tool. With version 10, I was able to program it to automatically detect the text angle, whether it was horizontal or vertical, and whether it used the vertical type tool or the horizontal type tool. And because I was able to have the plugin detect that, for the user, you don't need to enter that. It's going to figure that part out for you, which is going to make it much simpler to understand. So you've got 2 methods here. You've got R and RM. If it's method R, that stands for resize. So if it's got -R, that's resize, and that will always make the new text the exact same length as the old text or the placeholder text in your template. So the placeholder text in your template will determine the length, and if it's the new text is shorter, it's going to stretch it to fit. If it's longer, it will condense it to fit, so it will always fit the exact length of the old text. If the resize method is set up to RM, that stands for resize maximum. In that case, the template is defining the maximum width the text can be. So if the text is too long, it will condense it to fit. However, with mode RM, if the text is shorter, it's not going to stretch it to fit. So just to recap, if you have nothing, it's never going to resize the text layer. If you have nothing on the end of the name, that is. If you have -R, it's always going to fit the length of the new text to the exact width of the placeholder text. And mode RM will scale down if it needs to fit the width, but it's not going to stretch or upscale to fit. So I'll just do a quick demo here. And in this template, there's 3 text layers. There is a name, which is set to resize maximum, so it will only scale it down if it's too long. We've got the team name set. Let's set that to mode R, so resize. So let's allow that to scale up or down to fit. And then for the year, that's set to nothing, so it's not going to do any resizing. But the best way to test your templates is with the test text replacement window. And this will do the exact same thing that will happen when you run the batch. So just test it here. And if it works, you know it will work during the batch. And the layer names you see here are the valid layer names for the sports photo automation to replace and resize text. So you can't use any other names other than what's in here. And those names will match exactly what you put in the header for your data file. So again, the data file, you don't put in -r or -rm. Even if your template uses it, you don't put that in here. And that way, you can have different templates with different extensions on the layer names, but you can use the same data file and even switch between templates, and you won't have to worry about the header name. So the header name always matches what you see in this text replacement window here. All right, I'm just going to hit replace text. And you can see it did exactly what it was supposed to. The name we put in was shorter for the team name, but it stretched it out. And for the player name, it was shorter, but the player name was set to mode RM, so it didn't stretch it out. It would only have condensed that if it was too long. I'll do one last demo here. Let's take this team name. I just want to show you here that you can make your text at any angles you want, and it's still going to work. So you can see that it's stretched that text out because that was mode R, so it's always going to resize up or down, and it's at an angle. But if we look before and after, it's stretched that to make it the exact same length for the text. Anyways, I think this new method is going to be much simpler and more intuitive to understand, and hopefully you like it better. Thanks for watching.